Now, traders at UBA say the local bond market is in a mixed mode, with offers seen on the 2038 and offers on the 2053 papers. Chuka Nwachukwu, head of ALM and balance sheet management at UBA, joins me now for more market updates. Chuka, thank you so much for joining us on the midweek market activities we're seeing here. But let's start following Monday's OMO auction subscription rate. We saw 519.9 billion versus the 300 billion. Which was on offer. Talk through the rates for the 92, 183, 365-day tenors, and was that what the market was really expecting?
Thank you, David. Like you rightly mentioned, there was a week started with OMO auction. Well over 300 billion was on offer. So we saw a slight drop in rates. The 1 year, we saw it drop by 25 basis points from the previous auction of 17.25 to to 17 point, sorry, the previous auction from 17.75 to 17.5. This bill is currently trading around the 11 half. The interest is really on the 1 year, and that's why we've seen drastic drop in that bill. So we've seen also interest, like you mentioned, on the on the NTB bills as well as the bond. We've seen interest across board. However, the bond, we have a mixed trading sentiment. We saw mainly bullish sentiment on the 2038 as well as the 2053, and though it's both ways, due to the fact that while some traders are trying to create liquidity because of the tightness in the system, some are also trying to sell off in order to make profit.
And now, talking about the money market rates, and you just mentioned liquidity now, the expectation is that going on, if system liquidity remains elevated, we are going to see further declines in rates. Talk us through that.
So the system opened in the region of 250 billion, a positive. However, due to the OMO auction and then of course the settlement, so we saw system decline, to this morning to about 27 billion in negative. So that has actually affected activity in both markets. We saw elevated yield, especially on the 1 year OMO. We saw it yesterday and move up as high as 12.7, 12.8%. But this today is currently trading around 11.8, 11.8 half. So that's pretty much has affected trading, especially as regard their liquidity.
And Chuka, now just shifting focus a little bit to the forex market now, we are seeing the Naira, whether or not it can hold its footing at the current NAFEM rates. That's the big question here, especially on the back of how low we've seen the Naira fall against the US dollar at the parallel market. Just yesterday, it closed about 1,300. What's your band outlook for the rest of this week at the NAFEM window?
Well, the Naira is currently trading around 878 level. That's actually an appreciation from about almost 400 basis point appreciation from what it was the previous day. The thing about Naira is that due to the policy of willing seller and willing buyer, so the rate continue to fluctuate just because whoever is selling, obviously has to match what the buyer is interested in, or whoever is buying rather have to match what the seller is interested in selling. So it's a game of demand. The demand is quite huge, and that's affecting them.
Chuka, I wouldn't let you go without having you touch on the anticipation in the market. We're still waiting for the Q1 bond calendar, and we don't necessarily have the clarity towards the MPC meeting. By now, we should have had the calendar for the meetings for the year. But inflation is in focus. How are investors likely reacting to the possible scenarios of the interest rate regime that might pan out?
Yeah, so we've seen the impact of not having the bond calendar out, play out in the bond market. Traders are very, are not willing to take risk, so everybody's just standing by the fence, and that's why we've seen bond market, more quiet than that of T-bills market. On the inflation, we saw about 72 basis point movement, from 28 0.28 levels, and that has actually affected investor sentiment. Inflation has to go hand in hand with investment, especially as regards the fixed income market. And so, most investors will want to know what CBN next move is as regards the MPC. So that is creating a little bit of uncertainty, and that's why we haven't seen much activity on the bond side.
Chuka, thank you so much for your time, and it's good to catch up with you today. That was Chuka Nwachukwu, Head of ALM and Balance Sheet Management at UBA.